Okay, trial and improvement. So it says your solution to this lies between 2 and 3. Okay, and we need to get the correct answer then using trial and improvement to one decimal place. Okay, so what you do to start with is if they tell us it's between 2 and 3, we go in the middle. Okay, so we check 2.5, right? 2.5. So that's our x value there. We take 2.5, right? And we're going to check that one in this formula here. Okay. And the question is, how am I going to sort of write this in my calculator? How am I going to put this in? Because it looks kind of complicated. Well, the good thing is, in your calculator, you don't need to type in x's, right? Because we're going to replace the x with whatever number we're putting in, right? So in my calculator, what I'm actually going to type in, right? First thing I'm going to write in is 2, right? And then the x, well, instead of writing x, I'm actually going to use a bracket. For every x value is here, I'm going to use a bracket, right? And then, of course, I'm going to cube that bracket. Take away, it says then 3x, so take away 3, and as I said, I'm not writing x in, I'll put a bracket in, take away 17. So that's what I'm going to type into my calculator, right? So the first value of x I'm going to consider is between 2 and 3, so 2.5 in the middle, right? So as I said, I'm going to substitute x in to be 2.5. If I use a bracket, it makes it a lot clearer as I've done here. So 2, bracket, 2.5, close bracket, and then press the Q button, which is there, okay? Take away 3, bracket, and then we're going to write in 2.5 again, close bracket, minus 17. Okay, so I hope you can see there the way the formula we've got from here, you can see that x has become my 2.5, and I've used a bracket so it's much clearer. So I press equals, and I get this, and I get 6.75, right? Now, I want it to be 0, okay? And I've got an answer which is too big, you know, it's a number which is above 0. So 2.5 is too big a value, right? So we need to try a smaller value. What you need to make sure you do then is you go down in increments of one decimal place, right? So the next one you need to check is 2.4, right? Don't jump to any other lower value, just go straight to the next one, 2.4. And what's good is in your calculator now, if you look at the calculator here, we've got this replay button, so we can go back, right? Go back and we can delete, go back again, delete the 5, change it to a 4, and then you've got your 2.4 in there, and you press equals, and you press the SD, and you've got 3.448. So we write that down, right? It's important we write these down. And of course, again, that's giving me an answer which is too big. So 2.4, when I put it in, gives me something which is above 0, so it's too much. So we now need to try 2.3, right? You need to make sure you go down in steps of one decimal place. Okay, you're going to get marked for all of this. So press back on the replay button, and delete the 4, change it to a 3, do the same over here, and you get, right, press the SD, 0.434. Now it's getting smaller, but it's still too big. So what we need to do now is try 2.2. Okay, so go back on here, 2.2, and when we do 2.2, now we get a negative answer, minus 2.304. So this time we've got an answer which is less than 0, so now it's too small. So if we can see now, 2.2 isn't quite enough, isn't it? Because it gives me an answer which is negative, and I want it to be 0. It's not quite where we want it to be, but 2.3 is too much. Okay, so the solution is between 2.2 and 2.3. So we've got to decide which one. What's it closest to? You can't guess this, right? You can't just say, oh, look, it's probably closer to 2.3 because 2.2 is quite far away. 2.3 is much closer. You can't do that. You've got to actually prove it. So what I do is I draw a little number line, and I put 2.2 on one end, and I put 2.3 on the other end, and I go right in the middle. Okay. Now 2.2 is too small. 2.3 is too big, and in the middle, of course, between 2.2 and 2.3 will be 2.25. I'm going to check that one, 2.25. So I go back on here, press equals, and 2.25 is minus 0.6875. That is too small. Okay, So this is now too small. So if 2.25 is too small, it must be greater than 2.25. And if it's greater than 2.25, then it's somewhere here, isn't it? Okay, the solution is somewhere here. Now 2.3 was too big, but 2.25 is too small, so it's somewhere here. And if it's somewhere here, we're going to round to this answer here. So 2.3 correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, now we've proved, by doing this, by going in between them, we've proved that it's closer to 2.3.